This video is sponsored by SimpliSafe. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. Do you remember this room? This is my basement that I renovated earlier in the year specifically to give my family a place to hang out and spend time together. And it's pretty fantastic. We hang out down here quite a bit, both as a family and my kids hanging out with their friends. There's a lot of movies, there's a lot of ping pong, but there's not a lot of storage and there's no place to set your drink. So for a while I've been thinking about making like a thin table to put behind the couch, a place to set your drink and set your phone. But we also have a whole lot of board games and video game systems, and there's nowhere to put them because I don't want to just build another cabinet, a big giant thing that just takes up space. And then I saw this video by my buddy Andy Klein. Andy's not only a super nice guy, but he's also like a woodworker and super genius inventor guy. Like he's made a lot of really awesome stuff. But he posted this video using a standing desk, and underneath the standing desk, he had a bunch of 3D printers mounted. So when you lifted the desk, the printers went up and down too. And that gave me an idea. And that idea led me to buy 2 of these very long standing desk frames. I bought this one specifically because it's extendable, so you can make each one of these up to like 72 inches, so the 2 of them together can be the same length as the couch. I tried to get a sponsorship for this, but it turns out the companies don't really go for it if you tell them you're gonna cut their products up. And if I chop the frame down a little bit, I can make it narrow enough to fit nicely behind the couch. Then with the press of a button, the whole thing can lift up from behind the couch, revealing all the hidden game storage. Let's go cut some plywood. All the plywood's cut, but you don't even know what I'm making yet, so let me kind of give you an idea in Fusion. I went ahead and modeled this entire thing up to make sure that it would work with the space behind the couch and with the frames that I bought. So essentially, I'm making 2 shelving units, but instead of sitting on the floor, they're gonna be suspended underneath a countertop. And then that countertop is gonna be mounted to the standing desk frame. So when you lift the frame, you lift the top, and it takes the shelves with it. But the cabinets themselves are gonna be super simple. Plywood with pocket holes, a few adjustable shelves, but the 2 units are slightly different. One is gonna be just for board games, and so I'm laying it out to account for the size of most of the board games that we have, and the other one is gonna hold old video game systems. There's probably gonna be some unique challenges in that one because I'm gonna have wiring I have to deal with. I have a bunch of wired controllers that I have to store, and some games that are gonna go in all these systems. I'll figure that out later. Right now, we just gotta do some pocket holes so we can start putting this thing together. Each one of the vertical pieces that make up the different sections are gonna have to work around this. So we've gotta notch out the top of each one for this piece so we know where the holes can go. I absolutely love it when I have sponsors who have products that I've been using for a really long time, like today's sponsor, SimpliSafe. I've literally had SimpliSafe in my house for 8 or 9 years, a really long time, and I love it. Not only is it a great way to protect your home and your valuables and the people in your home, but it's also easy to set up and really inexpensive for what you get. Now I've tried all the different things that they sell, all of the indoor and outdoor cameras, the video doorbells, all of the different sensors and sirens and everything, and it's all worked out great. Plus, it's easy to set up. Okay, basically what you do is you go to the website and you build out the system that you need for your home. You don't get a bunch of extra stuff that you don't need, and then it shows up to your house in a box. After you get the whole thing set up, which is super easy, it integrates with the app so you can lock and unlock doors, you can check all your video feeds from your cameras, and you can see the status of your system within the app. I've been enjoying my SimpliSafe system for a long time, but they've actually got something new called ActiveGuard that luckily I've not had to worry about yet. ActiveGuard is a combination of AI and live monitoring agents that will be notified if there are any potential threats towards your home. The AI will watch for friendly faces, people that it knows, and it will ignore them and let them be. But if they see something suspicious, it'll tell a live agent who can then look through your cameras and even talk back to the person to maybe, possibly, stop a crime before it happens. Speaking of monitoring, that's actually one of the coolest parts about SimpliSafe for me. For about $1 a day, I can have my home monitored 24/7 with no hidden fees and no commitment. I could cancel it at any time, although I never have and I don't really plan to. A few times a year, SimpliSafe will offer a pretty significant discount to people watching. They've actually given me a 60% discount to offer to you today, which is just kind of bonkers. So be sure to go to simplisafe.com/ILTMS or hit the link down in the description. And then when you sign up for professional monitoring, you're gonna get 60% off your entire order, which is really, really good. It's good stuff. It's a cool company. Please go check them out. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. So the under cabinet part is done. It's pretty simple, just kind of basic cabinetry, but it has to attach to the bottom side of the desktop or countertop. And that's gonna be a little bit harder to handle. Of course, I could have used plywood for the top, but I figure may as well go all the way, so I got a giant piece of butcher block. Most butcher block countertops come in 24-inch pieces, so I would have had to buy 2 of those to get what I needed, but this is an island piece, which means it's 39 inches across. I can cut it in half and get both of my 17-inch wide pieces for about $100 cheaper. The problem, of course, is that it weighs a ton. These 2 pieces are just about ready to be put together, and it's sitting upside down because I think that's gonna be the easiest way to attach everything. I do have to put the standing desk frame in between these at the same time, but before I can use it, I have to cut it down. To the grinder. I got the feet cut down to the right length, and I could put the plastic toes back in here, but then that'll make them longer than they need to be. So I can go to Fusion and model up some caps just to cover up this open end. I did put the holes in here earlier for adjustable shelves, so I still have to cut those shelves out of plywood. Then I'm gonna edge band both those pieces and all these pieces so it doesn't look like plywood. And after that, just put some clear coat on it. And then of course I have to do all of this exact same stuff on the other cabinet before we can move on. Both of the cabinets are ready to be put in place, except I think we can do better on the controls. The controls for almost every standing desk that I've ever seen are pretty much like this. It's a little module with a flat top with screws that go up from underneath so that it mounts underneath the desk. And I guess we could do that, but it would be really hard to get to because underneath the desk is gonna be behind a couch. But luckily, I've kind of messed with stuff like this before in a recent video. A few months back when I renovated the whole basement, in that video I added a motorized projector screen, and it's controlled by these hardwired buttons that are on the wall. But that product also came with a little remote control. So in another video, I kind of hijacked the buttons of the remote control and connected them to an Arduino that I put into this box right here. So I have voice control and it will stop when it hits that box. Now this little box has a limit switch on the top of it, and that's what stops it when it's coming down. But the cooler thing is actually the fact that the remote is connected to a little Arduino module in here that's connected to the internet. And it is an object on my smart home network that I can talk to through my Amazon devices. So I can give it voice commands to go up and down. And that's what I want to do with the desks. Now, I'm not going to rehash all the same steps that I did in that other video, but if you're interested in that at all, you should go check it out because it's actually pretty easy to do. I'll put a link to that video up here and down in the description. Go check it out. But right now, I'm going to go see if I can hijack some buttons on the controller. That little insert right there has an inductive charger in it, 2 USB ports plus 2 plugs. So we've got power and phone charging on the top surface, which means it's time to go move some furniture. I got them both finished, got them put behind the couches, and they actually just look really good as tables, which is fantastic, but I can also trigger them with my voice. Now, every time I've ever done a video where I've talked to my Amazon device, I say the name, and people get mad at me because it triggers their devices too, so I've temporarily renamed mine to computer. So I can say, computer, let's play a video game. Or I can say, computer, let's play a board game. I mean, come on, that's pretty awesome, right? Using something in a way that is not intended often leads to something really cool. We've got great storage that actually looks pretty good up, but it can also completely hide away when we don't want to use it, and I'm very happy with it. The downside is that these frames were not cheap, and the butcher block was not cheap either, so this turned out to be kind of expensive. Luckily, each one of these frames can lift well over 300 pounds, so they're more than strong enough to lift up all the wood plus the stuff that I've actually got stored there. And they're really quiet. I was surprised at how quiet these things lift, and they don't go super slow. Let me know what you think about it down below. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Alexa, play I'm Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. To cut these, cutting their products up to make them work for your project. I guess, okay, how do I say that? A butcher block. And I just broke the thing. Oh well, guess I gotta 3D print that part. Most butcher block countertops plywood with some